Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursday. So today I have a very special video for you because, it was maybe like a year and a half ago I came on here and I invited you to join me into, doing like a deep dive into affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, and together we started our journey. First of all, thank you so much for those of you who have been with me from the beginning of Middle Eastern Thursday and who have hauled and, considered so many fragrances that we've discussed throughout all this time. But today, I thought it was time to stop and not necessarily reminisce, but more like share what we've all learned on this journey. So today I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned on this journey, and I'm hoping that you would be willing to also share with us what you have learned on this journey, regardless of if you've been with me from the beginning or if you just joined 2 days ago. What have you learned on your affordable Middle Eastern fragrances journey? And in addition to that, I will also be sharing with you my all-time top pick from 21 different affordable Middle Eastern brands. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that most of these fragrances, you will not be surprised if you've been with me from the beginning, because I have talked about them over and over and over. But I will tell you that there is a little bit of a difference today, because typically when I come on here, I come to review fragrances with you, to share fragrances with you, and I try to give you a very objective review, putting aside what I may at times personally feel about, do I personally want to wear that fragrance or not? There are times where I just tell you, okay, these are my favorites, or these are the 5 that I think you should definitely go for. But I consider different things when I review fragrances. I consider performance, I consider the notes. I try to make sure to bring you a good variety of it all. But today, these are my top picks by brand, and I have selected, as I said before, 21 fragrances. So we have quite a bit to do today, so let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. So when it comes to what I've learned about Middle Eastern fragrances, let me just break it down for you into the 2 main things that you need to understand about affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. And I also want to make sure that we're all clear on the fact that I am not an expert in any kind of way. I am first and foremost a serious fragrance collector. And second of all, I am your fragrance concierge. Because truly, I do want everybody to have the best experience possible when it comes to smelling fabulous and experiencing fragrances, regardless of if they're designer, affordable Middle Eastern, luxury Middle Eastern, Western niche. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, whatever fragrance type you decide that you want to add to your collection, I just want to make sure that you have a very pleasant experience. There is no need to have an unpleasant fragrance experience. But anyway, so the 2 things that I did want to say that I have learned, the key 2 things that I think are critical on this journey are, number 1, patience. When it comes to affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, I think that having patience is key. Because these, for the most part, not all of them, but the majority of them, I would say 95% of the time, you are going to have to allow the fragrances to sit. So these are not the type of fragrances that you're going to receive and you are immediately going to spray them and you're going to be able to appreciate all that this fragrance has to offer. No, it will take patience. It will take time. The second thing that I have learned that I want to share with you and that I think is critical, I will be sharing multiple things, but but I just wanted to make sure to start with these two critical ones. So first, patience, and now I want to talk about the importance of when you receive your affordable Middle Eastern fragrance. So let's say, for example, that I just received Niche Emirati Mughal Fort. And of course, spoiler alert, now you know that this one is in today's lineup, but for those of you who have been with me for a while, I'm sure you're not surprised. But anyway, so let's say that you just received Niche Emirati Mughal Fort. The first thing you need to do with any affordable Middle Eastern fragrance that you receive is open the box, unpack it, of course, and remove the cap and spray it out. Spray it out at least 8 to 10 times. But please do not spray the fragrance inside your home because, as we most know, these fragrances are, for the most part, powerhouses. Most of them truly are. So you have to go ahead and spray them out outside of your home. Typically what I do is I just open the front door and I just spray it out, facing outward, of course. I spray it out 8 to 10 times, fully sprayed. And at times I may even do a little bit extra. After you spray them, you have to immediately cap them, preferably put them back in their box, and then put them away somewhere in your home where it is, there's no sunlight and no exposure to light, and it is a dry area of your home. You allow the fragrance to sit for 1 to 2 weeks before trying it on skin. Now, after that, you keep repeating that process. And with the exception of spraying it out, you just keep trying the fragrance every 1 to 2 weeks on your skin, and you start to evaluate if the fragrance has changed. Has it evolved? Are you picking up on more notes or different notes? Has the longevity, the performance of the fragrance improved? You will start to see considerable changes in the fragrance as you allow it to sit. That is critical. I can't tell you how many times through this journey I have explained that to fam members in the comment sections of videos, on DMs on Instagram. I have just written that so many times, and I don't mind doing that, but I think it is critical for all of you to remember that that is very, very important, because if not, you will not allow yourself to really see what the fragrance can offer. On this journey, I've also encountered quite a bit of fam members that have shared with me that they have just decluttered a fragrance because they received it and it was just terrible and made them nauseous, made them sick, and they just decluttered the fragrance. And I am sorry to have to tell you that in most of those instances, I can almost assure you that if you would have had the patience, or maybe you just didn't know, but if you would have had the patience to just spray it out, as I just said, and then allow it to sit for 1 to 2 weeks, you would start to immediately see changes in the fragrance, in the juice of the fragrance, in the scent of the fragrance. Now, I will tell you that there are times where I have done that, and that has not made a difference in how, I feel about the scent of the fragrance. It has not been pleasant from the beginning, and through time, it really hasn't changed much. At times, it hasn't changed at all. But I must say, and you guys know this, I have tried hundreds, approaching 1,000 fragrances on this journey. Just affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. I have tried so many fragrances, and I can tell you that I can count with one hand and have fingers left as to how many times I've actually tried a fragrance from the get-go, and it has never changed while I've allowed it to sit through time. So I don't want this video to be 3 hours long, but I figured that it was important for me to share with you at least those 2 critical items that I've learned on this journey, because as I've called them, they are key and they are critical to your experience with affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. Please let us know in the comments section what you have learned on this affordable Middle Eastern fragrances journey that we've been on, because there is so much that I could share, but if I do, we will be here for hours. Now, there's 2 more other things that are not as critical as the first 2 items that I shared with you, but there's a couple of other items that I do want to share with you as far as what I've learned on this journey. So first and foremost, there seems to be a misunderstanding around the fact that all affordable Middle Eastern fragrances have been inspired by something. That is really not the case. Actually, today, many of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you, I can tell you for a fact, they have not been inspired by anything. They are original creations by the Middle Eastern Fragrance House, and I absolutely love them. Now, have there been times where I have encountered many fragrances that have been inspired by? Absolutely. And I have shared those with you because the other important thing to know about this journey is that you will encounter fragrances that have been truly inspired by Western niche fragrances or designer fragrances or other fragrances, right? And you will find that they are almost spot on. Some of them do have a twist, but others are pretty much spot on in my opinion. And at times I have liked them even more than the OG. That is not with the majority of the fragrances, but that has happened here and there. And I have shared that with you in full transparency throughout this journey. The last thing that I do want to say before I jump into the fragrances, as far as it relates to what I've learned on this journey, and it's not so much what I've learned, but it has come as a result of my experience, dealing with affordable Middle Eastern fragrances and with different fam members and just, viewers and followers in general. So here's what I have to say. Yes, I do have a very vast, over 1,000 bottle niche and designer Western niche and designer fragrances collection. Yes, I do. And I actually love most of them. It is just my passion. It is something that I enjoy. Now, when it comes to affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, why do I do them? I have received those questions via DMs and sometimes in the comment section on why am I doing affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. Here's the thing. I'm a fragrance concierge. If you are a fragrance concierge, you are not going to limit yourself to one type of fragrance. Let's just start with that. If you visit a concierge at a hotel that you're staying in because you want to go have dinner with your family and you ask them for options, the concierge should be able to give you all the way from very, very affordable restaurants to hole-in-the-wall restaurants to beaten off, like off the beaten path type of restaurants to Michelin star level restaurants. The concierge should have a broad knowledge of restaurants to recommend to those who come for assistance. Okay, well, that is the role that I play as it relates to fragrances. But even putting that aside, for me, affordable Middle Eastern fragrances have allowed us to make fabulous smelling fragrances accessible to all price points, right? To everybody. So if you are not willing to spend $350, $450, $550 on any other type of fragrance, whether it's luxury Middle Eastern or Western niche or, the very, very high-end designer, if you don't want to spend that kind of money on a fragrance, even though you can afford to, that is your decision. I respect that. We should all respect that. If you cannot afford it, then you have the alternative of trying a Middle Eastern affordable fragrance. That is why I do it. I bring it to you because as a concierge, I believe it is my role to provide you with choices, different price points, different types of fragrances. We are not into boxing ourselves in this fam. We do not box ourselves. We are flexible. We embrace. We have acceptance. We accept diversity, and we are quite inclusive. So I hope that that answers that question once and for all, but I know I'm still going to get that question, and that's okay because I will continue answering. But I just wanted to share that with you. Please understand what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to offend anybody. We are trying to be inclusive and allow everybody the opportunity to smell fabulous. Okay, so this is editing Arahi. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys a warning, especially if you are a first timer here on our channel. Let me tell you that when I start talking about fragrances that are my ultimate passion, there is just quite a bit of excitement that you are going to see. So just please be kind. Okay, I'm just talking about fragrances that I absolutely love. So get ready to really see a ton of emotion and expression and a lot of hands moving. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And I just want to remind you that we've discussed, I've reviewed, hauled, talked about, they've been involved in different lineups through time. All of these fragrances have already been discussed, so I just want to share them with you today. This is not a detailed review kind of video, so please keep that in mind. Now we're going to go ahead and start with AHMED Al-Maghribi, which you guys know is one of my favorite fragrance houses when it comes to affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. Their fragrances to me are top notch, and I can't even think of one AHMED Al-Maghribi fragrance that I've ever tried that I really haven't at least strongly liked. But my favorite of all time continues to be Bidoum Essam. Now, Bidoum Essam is a fragrance that is all about the rose and oud, but I have many rose oud dominant fragrances in my collection. But this one, while you are going to pick up clearly on the rose and the oud is not barnyardish in any way. The oud is very present. It's like a level 3 to 4, but not barnyardish in any way. It is very nicely done, smooth, and it goes very well into the blend of the fragrance itself. Then you have the rose, and the rose here is like a sweetened rose. It's not a jammy rose, but it is a sweet rose that is fully bloomed. It's not dated, but it is a fully bloomed rose for sure. The rose is dominant right along with the oud, and that is primarily what you're going to get from this fragrance. But this is just absolutely exceptional. If you have been looking for the perfect rose and oud fragrance, you may want to try, but this is not a safe blind buy. I think that you definitely need to get your nose on it. Now, the next fragrance house that I'm going to share my all-time top pick is MAISON ASRAR. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have a weakness for MAISON ASRAR. When it comes to MAISON ASRAR, if there's a new fragrance, I always try to pick it up if I don't receive it in PR, because I love the DNA of that fragrance house. And from MAISON ASRAR, there's so many that I could have picked because I absolutely love all of the ones that I have in my collection, and I have quite a number of them. But this one, this is my top pick without a shadow of a doubt, and this is Heritage. Now, Heritage is a musk-based fragrance where the star here to me is the coconut. And that coconut is creamy. It is a tad lactonic. The fragrance is sweet, but not very sweet. And you are going to get a tiny bit of that like sunscreen, suntan lotion kind of scent. But this is a very elegant, versatile fragrance that I tend to pull any season of the year. But I tell you, you really need to give this one a try. Now, the next brand is LATTAFA. Now, you guys know that I own just about every LATTAFA fragrance that has been launched in the past couple of years. And I absolutely love so many of them. There's very few that I've gifted because I really wasn't into. There are so many LATTAFA fragrances that I could have shared with you today. But this, to me, for me, this is my top pick. This is my all-time top pick. It will not come as a surprise for those of you who have been with me on this journey from the beginning. And this is from Niche Emirati, and it is Mughal Fort. Now, Mughal Fort is a fragrance that is a spicy fragrances lover dream. That is what this is. This is a fragrance that, to me, is so addictive. Here you're going to find cardamom, pimento, vanilla. It is just a delight. It is a fragrance that Primarily, I would recommend that you pull during the fall, during the spring and during the winter seasons, but you may get away with wearing it on a not very, very, very hot summer day. I absolutely love this fragrance and have recommended it so many times here on the channel. I know many of you have picked it up, so please let us know in the comment section if you share that radical love that I have for Mughal Fort. All right, so I just wanted to make sure before you guys leave comments in the comment section. So when it comes to LATTAFA, you guys know that I have a huge LATTAFA fragrances collection. I do. There are so many, fragrances that I could have picked that I absolutely love. There's Anghem. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. But here's the thing. Mughal Fort was not inspired by anything that I'm aware of. It does not bring anything to mind. I don't have anything like it in my collection, and it is a deep love. And while there's others from LATTAFA that did deserve to be here, they're either too new, like Dream of Haze. You guys know that I love that. There's MAGHRIBI, which you guys know that I absolutely love also, but Mughal Fort is my all-time favorite. It is to me a LATTAFA original, and I'm going to select it because I think they deserve the credit for creating such an outstanding masterpiece fragrance, because that's what I think it is. So I just wanted to say that before you tell me, how could you not have included this one or that one? You've said time and time again that you love this one. You guys know that I love Sir. I mean, there's just so many. But anyway, let's get back to the video. The next brand that I'm going to share with you is AFNAN. And from AFNAN, there's just so many fragrances also that I could have picked. There were actually 3 contenders for this top pick of all time. But I have to tell you that ever since I sniffed this fragrance, it has been an obsession. It is addictive. It will hook you on and not let go. And I'm speaking about 9 PM Rebel. Oh my goodness. This fragrance is unbelievable. This is one of the sexiest fragrances that I have in my entire fragrances collection across the board. This is sexiness in a bottle. Here you're going to find some pineapple, some apple, some woody notes, just to give the fragrance some oomph and character. It is sweet, but not very sweet. Some may think that this leans to the masculine side, but not in my opinion. For me, this is unisex, truly unisex. This is a commanding fragrance. This is definitely a beast. It's going to make a statement. It will announce you before you even enter the room. Please do not overspray this fragrance, but this is a powerhouse. This is a lifer for me. I absolutely love it. Let us know if you've tried AFNAN 9 PM Rebel. So let's talk about ASDAAF. This fragrance is one of my top compliment getters of all time, and it is my favorite ASDAAF fragrance of all times. And this is not going to come as a surprise because I have talked about this fragrance so much on the channel, and it will be a surprise for some. But anyway, this is Maj Al Sultan. This fragrance is wow. When I wear this fragrance, I have to be careful where I go, what I wear, what I say, because this pulls people to you. This is a sexy, dark, rich fragrance that makes such a bold statement. This is like a sexy boss fragrance. While 9 PM Rebel was like your sexy, sensual, alluring fragrance, this is like your sexy boss fragrance. Bold, unapologetic. Some may think that this smells a little bit like a church or a monastery, or no. This just has like a darkness and a level of depth that is just unbelievable. Here you find some tobacco, some incense. This fragrance is definitely very ambery, and it is unisex. To me, truly, this does not lean feminine at all. And to some, this may lean a tad to the masculine side. For me, this is as unisex as it gets. But this is one fragrance that I would not pull during the summer because It will definitely choke you and all of those around you. This is one that you want to carry during the fall, the spring, and or the winter season. But when I tell you that, get ready when you wear this fragrance. So this next fragrance is not going to come as a surprise because I have talked about this fragrance so much here on the channel. I know I have personally sold out this fragrance multiple times, okay? Right now, I can't even find it anywhere. I'm looking for a backup bottle because this one is going fast and I keep trying not to pull it. This fragrance is my favorite affordable Middle Eastern vanilla-centric fragrance, period. Is a shawl incredible? Yes. And all of the other vanillas that we've tried, Elysia vanilla, they're all great. But this one, Le Bois de Vanille. If you've been with me for a while, you're like, yes, Arahi, we know. Yes, this is my vanilla. This is the vanilla that gets me going. It is ambery, not too sweet. Here you have a ton of vanilla with a coconut that has been done so incredibly beautiful, and some rose. The rose is young, it's crisp, it's vibrant. It brings a brightness to the fragrance. This is a masterpiece for me, and this is a lifer if I can find more, because look at this, and this is not my first bottle, but I am telling you, if you have Bois de Vanille, because I know many of you picked it up, please let us know your thoughts about this incredible vanilla fragrance. I will link it for you along with all the other fragrances if I can find it somewhere, because I'm telling you, I've been looking for a backup bottle to no avail. All right, so now let's talk about my beloved Paris Corner. Yes, so you guys know that I own quite the number of fragrances from Paris Corner. I think it's like over 100 at this point. It's close to like 200. It is really something. But of all of my Paris Corner fragrances, and there were so many, because Paris Corner, remember, includes Amir. And you guys know that I have some Amir fragrances that, you know, they're lifers for me, you know, Vetiver Delight. There's just so many, okay? I'm not going to get into all of that. But this one is a Paris Corner original creation, and this is my top pick of all time for Paris Corner, and it is Indomitable. Yes, it is. This fragrance is a fragrance that brings a pep to your step. It is a joy-filled fragrance. It is a very addictive scent that's going to bring a smile to your face immediately. This is a fragrance that is all about the citrusy notes, with a very, very dominant note of clementine. But when I tell you, I am absolutely in love with this fragrance. This is a lifer. I have a backup bottle that actually the Paris Corner team sent me, and I am so glad that they sent it to me because I cannot afford to run out of this fragrance ever. And I hope that it's always permanent, you know, a permanent part of their collection. But this is my top pick from Paris Corner. All right, so this next one is my top pick from Gulf Orchid. And let me just start by saying that I could have picked from Gulf Orchid so many fragrances. And it just so happens that this one, which is my top pick, is really inspired, truly inspired by another fragrance. And we're going to talk about it. So this one, which is my top pick, is Fakhama. Hands down, this is my #1 pick from Gulf Orchid. This is not my first bottle. So this fragrance was allegedly inspired by Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy. And it was. But here's the thing. You may recall, if you've been with me for a while, you may recall when I hauled it and I reviewed it and I told you that I was just like blown away. I couldn't even control myself during the video. I told you how incredible this fragrance was. Well, nothing has changed. And it just so happens that I prefer this one over Love Don't Be Shy. Love Don't Be Shy is an incredible fragrance, okay? But there are just certain accords that do not sit well with me. It is like sickly sweet to my nose, and there's other accords that really are not of my liking. It is a lovely fragrance. I no longer own it. I love Fakhama. Just my personal opinion. Anyway, but this is my top pick from Gulf Orchid. Let us know, have you tried Fakhama, and how do you feel about it? All right, let's talk about Ministry of Gourmand. And this fragrance from Ministry of Gourmand, this is not going to be a surprise to you because you've seen me haul it, review it, and bring it up in I don't know how many lineups through time. And this one has not even been around that long, but from the first moment it hit my nose, I was completely addicted to this Coconut Lagoon. Wow. This fragrance is one of my top coconut fragrances in my entire collection. It's within the top 3 coconut fragrances in my entire collection. This is a very realistic coconut fragrance. Literally, it's going to transport you to like sitting in front of a lagoon in some tropical paradise somewhere where you're getting and you're sipping like on your coconut drink. In here, in addition to the coconut, you're going to find some watermelon, vanilla. It is just unbelievable. It is one of the most incredibly done blends that I have found within affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. Let us know if you have Coconut Lagoon. Next, let's talk about REHAB, and let's jump right into it because I'm sure many of you will agree. When it comes to REHAB, for me, the signature scent of REHAB will always be Choco Musk. This is my second bottle. You guys know because I had a tinier bottle. This is an incredible chocolate-centric fragrance. If you're looking for a chocolate fragrance and you haven't tried Choco Musk, I don't know what you're doing. There's been so many chocolate fragrances that have been launched recently, but I will always head back to Choco Musk. Now, this is a dark chocolate fragrance, but here I don't find it to be like a dark chocolate to the tune of like a 94% cacao type of fragrance, but this is definitely about the dark chocolate. It is sweet, it has quite a bit of vanilla, and it is very ambery. Absolute chocolate perfection. All right. Aroma Concepts. So Aroma Concepts has their own line of fragrances, and they so kindly, every time they launch one, they send it to me. But when I received this fragrance, you may remember because I hauled it with you, my reaction. So for the longest time, you guys know, okay, let me just start by saying, you guys know that for the longest time, I've been looking for the perfect strawberry, sweet, juicy strawberry fragrance, right? Well, before that, my quest, my mission was to find the most perfect blueberry-centric fragrance. Well, this one, my top pick from Aroma Concepts, this is my top blueberry-centric fragrance in my entire collection. It's first this one and then Tonka Jour. And this is from Aroma Concepts Sapphire Ivory. I'm not going to say any more because I have talked about this fragrance over and over. You guys know how I feel about it. If you own this fragrance, please let us know. Would you agree with me that this is blueberry perfection? I get more than blueberry here, but this is really all about the blueberry. Absolutely love it. My top pick. All right, so let's talk about ARMAF. So I have reviewed through time several ARMAF collections, right? But when I reviewed this collection, I had to do a dedicated video. So there's a dedicated review to the entire Eater or Eder, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, collection. But within that collection, immediately my favorite and continues to be and is my all-time top pick, Arabian Sky. There is nothing to say about this fragrance except exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. This is a fragrance where you're going to find a touch of leather. You're going to find some patchouli. You have some pineapple, some grapefruit. But let me just talk about that touch of leather because that's what seems to scare people at times. Well, the leather is so smooth. The leather just adds a layer of character and oomph to this fragrance, which this scent is just so addictive. It is absolutely exquisite. It is so refined. It is so perfect. It's going to get you a ton of compliments. This is a major beast mode fragrance on my skin. This will last me easy 12 plus hours. On my clothes, it does not leave until I seriously launder them. I just can't take them to the cleaners and have them dry clean because they will come with a little bit of the scent still on them. I have to like find a way to clean them on my own or just not spray them on my clothes because that's how strong this fragrance is. I know many of you have picked up several of the fragrances in this collection because I have brought these fragrances up time and time again, but this is my top pick from the entire ARMAF collections that I have reviewed through time. Arabian Sky. All right, so let's talk about North Stag. And of course, this is not going to come as a surprise because of all of the North Stag fragrances that I've discussed here through time. I really can't recall being ever disappointed by a North Stag fragrance. I even have fragrances that are allegedly masculine leaning, but to me, they're perfectly unisex. I've reviewed those here on the channel. I've shared North Stag fragrances exclusively for the gents here on the channel. You know, they're videos dedicated exclusively to gents. But this next one is my all-time top pick, and it will not come as a surprise. And it's North Stag Expressions Quatre or 4. This is all about citrusy notes. Whew. Citrusy notes bordering on zesty with a very present note of ginger, which brings a fresh spiciness to the fragrance. This is perfection for a very elegant kind of event during a very, very hot summer day. This is a fragrance that for me is perfection for spring and summer. You can pull it whenever you want, but for me, this is spring and summer. Let us know, because I know many of you picked up this fragrance. Let us know your thoughts. All right, so let's talk about MATIN. This is a fragrance house that I own maybe like 6 or 7 fragrances. And I can tell you that I've never been disappointed by any of their fragrances. So when having to pick my top pick, I had a very hard time between 2 of them, which will not come as a surprise to you if you've been with me, because I have talked time and time again about Jamila and about Miral. But I decided to pick Miral as my all-time top pick. This is a fougere fragrance that has plum, white florals, tonka, and ambergris. This is an absolutely beautiful fragrance with some woodiness in the background that becomes a bit creamy at the dry down. It is just a very beautifully addictive scent that just carries and lingers. This leaves such a trail behind you. Oh, it is just absolutely magnificent. Let us know if you've tried Miral. All right, so let's talk about Fragrance World. Oh, okay. So from Fragrance World, I have to tell you that my all-time top pick is definitely Signature Brown. Wow. I can't speak highly enough of this fragrance. This is signature scent worthy. It is such an exquisitely beautiful, elegant, sophisticated. It gives an air of worldliness. This is a fragrance that does require a little bit of maturity to pull it off. You know, maybe like 30 plus, 25 plus, you can get away with it. Wear whatever you want. But this fragrance has such an air of wealth and opulence and sophistication. I can't even explain it. The scent is absolutely exquisite. This is a woody aromatic fragrance where the dominant notes to my nose are definitely basil, like black pepper, and patchouli. But when I tell you, oh, this fragrance, when you wear it, it will automatically make you feel a certain kind of way. Let us know if you've tried it. Okay, so this next brand, my top pick from this next brand will certainly not come as a surprise. I pulled this fragrance to talk about freshies all the time. Like every time I have a lineup and I want to talk about a freshie fragrance that really performs exceptionally, I pull this fragrance. And I'm speaking about WATANIAH. And some of you already know that I'm going to be talking about Lazuli. Now, here's the thing about Lazuli. Lazuli is yet another one of those that was allegedly inspired by Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. This fragrance was inspired by Neroli Portofino, if you know what I mean. It was. But here's the thing. I prefer this one because the performance here, this is beast mode on my skin. This is an exceptional fragrance. The thing about it is that I've had it in my collection for over a year. So it's been sitting, it's had a chance to really pick up all of its oomph, and it is a beast on my skin. The performance is exceptional. But let's talk about the juice. This is truly a freshie with a very big focus on white florals, some citrusy notes, and it is also ambery. This is not one of those freshies that you spray and will like fade or disappear in, a couple of hours. Oh no, not this one. This is a freshie with quite a bit of personality. Beautifully, beautifully done fragrance. And within, of course, within the white florals, the one that will stick out to you the most is the neroli, but to my nose, I also get the jasmine. But all in all, this is more about the citrusy notes playing very nicely with the white florals. So let's talk about French Avenue. Now, you guys know that I have so many French Avenue fragrances that I could have picked and just shared with you today. But I have to tell you, my favorite of all time is Diwani Beirut. This scent is just incredible. If you own Diwani Beirut, could you please let us know in the comment section what you really think about it? Because this is another one of those fragrances that is so addictive. This is a woody aquatic, not aromatic, woody aquatic fragrance, and truly it is. Here you're going to find some peach, pink pepper, white florals, some woody notes on a base of musk. And the musk is to the tune of a level 3 to 4. Not animalic kind of way, but you have to enjoy a musk-based fragrance in order to really appreciate this beauty, because it is a musk-based fragrance, truly. But I have to tell you, I absolutely love the scent of this fragrance. It doesn't remind me of anything. If it has been inspired by something I don't know, great, but I absolutely love this fragrance, and this is my all-time top pick from French Avenue. Okay, get ready to see some serious passion, because I only have 3 fragrances left for you. But this next one, I just don't even know where to start on my love of this fragrance. This fragrance has been a game changer for me in all of the fragrances that I have in my entire collection, okay? This one was a game changer when it comes to the note of tobacco, because until I encountered this fragrance, tobacco for me typically leaned to the masculine side, or it was like a dry tobacco, or it made me feel like I was in a cigar bar somewhere. I had been in the cigar bar having bourbon and a cigar for hours, and then I smelled like that. You know what I mean? But let's talk about Swiss Arabian. And within Swiss Arabian, yes, my top pick of all time is Tobacco 01. Now, let me be clear here. You guys know that I love Swiss Arabian. There's Casablanca. There's the entire Shagaf line. I could have picked any of those fragrances. There's so many Swiss Arabian masterpieces, in my opinion, in my collection that I could have picked. But Tobacco 01? Oh, no. When Tobacco 01 came into my life, it was a game changer. It redefined my entire thought around the note of tobacco for the ladies. This is a sexy beast. That's what this is. This is not a ladies fragrance. This is not a gents fragrance. This is just a sexy beast for whomever wants to wear it. So if you are looking for the ultimate sexy, rich, opulent, sophisticated, dark, mysterious, sexy fragrance, this is it for you. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing, but you know what? Let me share with you some of the notes. And I am going to read this because there's so many notes in this fragrance. You know how Swiss Arabian can be. But let me just share these notes with you. This is what I pick up. So here I have plum, licorice, honey, tobacco, ylang-ylang, vanilla, pink pepper, and cumin. So you have some yellow florals, you have that tobacco, which is not a dry tobacco. It's like a sweetened, smooth, moist tobacco. Then you have some spicy notes. I definitely pick up on the pink pepper and the cumin for sure. I tell you, this fragrance is a masterpiece. If you have tried, or if you own Tobacco 01, whether you agree with me or not, it's okay. It's okay. Please let us know in the comment section what you think about it. And if you feel this radical love that I have for Tobacco 01, please share and let us know in the comment section too. All right, so you guys know that I am a lover of purple florals, okay? Bring them all to me. I'm good. Iris, violet, lavender, all of them. Just I'm good, right? This next fragrance is for my iris, violet, lavender lovers. And let's talk about Al Haramain. And from Al Haramain, of course, let's talk about L'Adventure Iris. If you've been with me from the beginning of the journey, I know you remember when I hauled this fragrance. I actually reviewed the entire L'Adventure collection, and this is my top pick of all time from Al Haramain because this is just exceptional. This is beyond. This is Iris truly perfection. Here you're going to find some cardamom, lavender, jasmine, vanilla. It's ambery. It has a powdery dry down as to be expected, but not excessive. Perfection. Now, this fragrance has not been inspired by anything. It does not remind me of anything. This is just incredible. The performance is beautiful. The sillage is incredible. I'm telling you, if you are an Iris lover and you haven't tried this fragrance, you need to make it a point to do so because you're going to fall in love. You can thank me later. Okay, so I only have 2 more fragrances to go. And none of these 2 are going to be a surprise because I've talked about them to exhaustion here on the channel. When I bring them up, especially the last one, I'm sure most of you know what the last one is. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this part of the video, can you please leave in the comment section which one do you think is the last one that I'm going to talk about today? Now, these 2 fragrances are special to me, okay? Let's start with RASASI. And from RASASI, let's talk about Jasmine Wisp. This is a masterpiece. This is a lifer. I had so many RASASI fragrances that I could have picked. You guys know how I love RASASI. It came down to Elite Lady or Jasmine Wisp, but I had to go with Jasmine Wisp. In Jasmine Wisp, you are going to find a very centric jasmine, of course. But in addition to that, you have some passion fruit, some coconut, you have vanilla. There are so many notes in this fragrance, but when I tell you the entire blend is what's going to get you addicted and what is going to make this fragrance one of your favorites of all time. I have rarely encountered any fan member that tells me that they do not enjoy Jasmine Wisp. Quite a number of you own it, so please let us know in the comment section why you love it, or if you don't, why you don't enjoy it. But this is my top pick of all time when it comes to RASASI. All right, this last fragrance is not going to come as a surprise. Even if you've only been with me, recently, you may have seen some Middle Eastern dedicated video where I find a way literally to bring up this fragrance because I absolutely love it. This is definitely a lifer. It definitely is within the top 5 of all of my Middle Eastern fragrances. My top 5 of all time, this is one of them. And I'm speaking about KHADLAJ, and this is Fleur Oud. Now, of course, many of you are going, oh, but of course. Okay, guys, this is just incredible. This is elegance in a bottle. But elegance for any occasion, for any season, for anything, day or night. You can dress it down, you can dress it up. Incredible fragrance. To me, this is elegance and sophistication in a bottle. You can make this your signature scent. You can take it to the office. I'm telling you, for just about anything, you are going to get a ton of compliments. It has an incredible performance. It's not full-on beast, but it does border on beast. This is my 2nd bottle, and it's had a chance to sit for quite a while. But when I tell you, if you have never tried Fleur Oud, I really encourage you to do so. Here you're going to find some mandarin, rose. This is all about the white florals also. It is an ambery fragrance, and there is a degree of woodiness in the background at all times that adds quite a bit of character and personality to the fragrance. But this is an exquisite. If there is one fragrance that you may want to try within the affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, it is definitely Fleur Oud. All right, so we have reached the end of today's video, and this has been such an exciting journey. I can't thank you all enough for being with me on this journey, for going on this deep dive. Of course, we are going to continue on this journey. Things are just getting more and more exciting. There are so many new fragrances coming out, so many different scent profiles, so many different things to try, and we're just going to keep going on this journey. Anyway, please let us know in the comment section what you have learned in this journey, whether you've been with us here all along or whether you just joined recently. It doesn't matter. What have you learned about affordable Middle Eastern fragrances on your journey? As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.